Okay, let's modify procedures and add costs and diagnoses and things of this nature. So that is a administrative function, so we're going to sign on as an administrator and go right into administration. We press go, and we can see there's a list here on the admin panel where you would go and pick modify procedures and service lists. You click here, and we have them broken down over here on the left as diagnostic, treatment, office visits, and supplies. For instance, if we look in the diagnostic, we see these here. If we look in office visits, we can see these are office visits. So most forms will go from left to right or top down in SonoSoft. So we're going to go ahead and create a new procedure. If we want to create one, we click here and we put in a CPT code. Now I'm just going to make this up as a CPT code, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in over here. We're going to type it in again, 76858, and then put in Doppler ultrasound. Oops. And we're going to put a cost associated with that. So let's just say that would be $253, and it is billable to insurance. Now this isn't written in stone. This just basically flags it from the very beginning. When you start, when you do the procedure, it will go into the billing, but you can undo that later on. We'll touch on that later. And if it is a supply, you can click here that it is taxable. As you'll notice here in the admin panel in the background, the tax rate for taxable CPT codes, you put that amount in there, whatever it is. So that's how the two tie together. Now you can see down here in groups, there's nothing in groups. Say if we wanted to group this as an ultrasound. So we're just going to go ahead to edit groups, and we'll type in here that this is going to be a special group for categorization later. Ultrasound, what's it called? Ultrasound procedures. Oops. All right, so we add that, and it's here. So when we close it, we'll see that it's part of the drop down. We're going to add that to the group. And now we have an option to bring in diagnoses. So let's see what we have here. We have cardiology and we have phlebology. So since this is ultrasound for phlebology, we're going to go ahead and import that list. And we put the whole list in here. And we'll notice there's probably a lot of things here that don't pertain to it. So let's just remove a diagnosis from there. And let's say we're going to remove lymphedema, and we're going to remove cellulitis. Or we can remove any number of them. Or if we remove them all, you can import the list again. Okay, so now we have a new procedure in here. So if you want to add a diagnosis, you can click on here and just close and save that, and that procedure will be in there. So if we go back to look for it, we should be able to find that that procedure. And there it is, Doppler ultrasound. So if we click on that, if you wanted to edit something, say it was not $253 but $259, you click and edit and close and save it. But we know that this is just a fictitious one here, so we'll go ahead and remove that procedure and get rid of it. Now when we look at our list, it's no longer there. Okay? So that's how you will modify or create a new procedure and add diagnoses. Keep in mind that adding and subtracting diagnoses will make it easier down the road when if you only have 3 or 4 diagnoses that are pertaining to a particular service, then you want to keep that list rather finite, so it's easier to use the correct diagnoses. If there is no diagnosis that fits, then maybe the procedure is not appropriate. But obviously if you're doing appropriate procedures, you want to put the appropriate diagnoses so you get paid. And that's the idea. So you just close and save that, and that's how it's done.